hopefully. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Carla from is this people of South South Asia of South Asia. And we are here. I'm here with Samir Gupta, and we will be talking to you and anyone who wants to come in and talk to us about life, who you are, what you're about, and just enjoy being together. Samir, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Look, this is an event that I wait for the entire week, and
Really?
Friday, Fridays are usually very busy because it's the end of the week and there's a number of things, a number of meetings, and I'm rushed. But and I have temptation to sort of somehow not come here and be with it. But I love being here. It's great connecting with so many people. So yeah, I really look forward to this conversation. Um, it sometimes it's quite structured, sometimes it's not so structured, but I always come out of it, being really happy and coming out of the conversation quite elated.
That is so nice to hear. That makes me feel really good, actually, to hear that. Because it takes a little to get this on the on out into the world, and it's such a fun thing to hear someone say, I see it as useful. So,
Yeah, I think, look, it's something which connects me to people.
you just made me feel good. So, what would you like to talk about? Rayhan and I yesterday were talking about fear and intimidation and how people get afraid of some people just because they're, just because they are. How do you feel about that? Do you ever feel intimidated by people?
Yes, and I think it's primarily it's got nothing to do with these people. It's to do with ourselves. Um, you know, it's like other people or situations remind us of something that we've experienced. When we were young. When we were like 4, 5, 6 years old, and we're still carrying the scars of those events, and we're still fighting those demons. So in most of there are genuine cases where being fearful is quite useful. If you're on the road and there's a bus that is going off the rails, fear will save your life. If you're out there in a jungle, and there are wild animals, fear will save your life. But then 99.9% of the cases, we get scared and fearful of things uh, that are not, or threats that aren't real, that are just conversations that we have with ourselves.
So
So
how can we get past those conversations? What do you think? And we have surreal now too. Yay!
it's real.
I
I think, Carla, I'll give you an example. When I was, many, many years ago, I was quite fearful of Pakistan and Pakistanis. Uh, Even when I the first crossed the no man's land, and went to Pakistan, I was fearful. There was a few moments where I said like, "Oh my God, what if what everybody else is saying about visiting Pakistan is true?" Um, there was no. It was just an emotional reaction. There was no logically. I There wasn't really any threat to me. And so quite often. um, the way to deal with fear is to actually be with it, to actually like really experience it, and then like really look at what's behind it, and only then you can, once you can be with your fear, and once you can be okay to be fearful, then you can go beyond it.
So yeah, I really look forward to this conversation. Like really look at.
Oh, my phone. And I was just sharing out.
Right.
How old were you when you first went to Pakistan? I'm curious.
Oh, 44.
So, how old are
5 years.
you now?
49.
Okay, that's allowed. Just curious. Someone is asking how to join. Just click on the StreamYard link. I am putting it in the chat now for everyone. So, what do you think, Surreal? Good morning, or it's good evening for you.
Good evening. What do I think about what?
Help me out, please, Samira, only because I need to get this out.
Yeah, so Cyril, what Carla is saying is that, yesterday she and Rehan were discussing, what has people be fearful? They're fearful of a situation, or they're fearful of of a specific kind of people, or maybe a specific person. So what has people be fearful, and how do they get past that?
Hmm. Yeah, fear is something like I can share one of my stories. Like after the 26/11 attacks in Mumbai,
Mm.
where the Jewish center was attacked, and so I was one of the first non-Jewish Indians to help the community, and at that point the rabbis and everyone was so scared that we have an Indian who is, helping us out, and the levels of paranoia were really high. And they said that we have to introduce you to the Consul General of Israel before you can start helping us. And I was, I was like 28 that time, and I was just like, okay, like I didn't have any fear or anything of that sort, but they said that you have to be careful since you're helping us. And they took me to meet the consul general, and then they were like, okay, we're going to make sure that nothing happens to you. And I'm still like, what's going to happen? I'm in my own city, what can go wrong? And fortunately, nothing happened. But later, when I started reading up more, that time I wasn't even aware of such a vibrant Jewish community in Bombay, and I mean, I had no fear at that time. So I, but all my friends and everyone was like, "Oh, you're crazy. You're doing this. How dangerous it is, and you're in Bombay, and you know, so." But I just went ahead and did it. Like help them rebuild, and and then there was I was even given when Prime Minister of Israel came to India. I was amongst the first few people to go and meet him at the airport because he came with that baby Moishe, and baby Moishe's family is become like they've become his the rabbi was baby Moshe's father's brother has become like my brother now. So he said, you have to come to the airport and you have to be there, without you, baby Moshe will feel that, you know, so for me, fear became something that it's there, I mean, I'm not fearless, like I have fear, but I don't let it bog me down, you know, like I don't like if I have to voice my opinion, if I have to speak up, if I have to, you know, have a conversation with, you know, uncomfortable situations, you know. And after that, I went to Kashmir. So my friends were like, "You are just crazy, you know, like you're going into this," and they're like, and everything that I was doing is known in the public domain. You know, it was not like I was doing it incognito. So I was on the one hand, I helped, you know, and then realized that, you know, once to overcome fear, you have to put yourself in a situation of fear and see how. I mean, I'm not saying that you go jump into the fire. I'm not saying that kind of craziness, but you have to be willing to listen, you know, and you have to understand and listen, and you have to uh, you have to have that you have to understand why someone fears you, you know, because it's a psychological thing, you know. And yesterday I saw a really beautiful documentary about consciousness, and it's called, and it was beautiful, you know. It was talking about how we have one consciousness and that it doesn't rest in our brain, it's outside of us, you know, because it, and so for me to overcome fear, you have to feel compassion, you know. You have to feel compassion, you have to feel empathy, you have to feel all these things if you want to overcome fear, because you can't overcome fear with aggression, you know. I mean, if you're getting aggressive and if you're getting violent or anything, that means you have a lot of fear. You know, it's a lot of insecurity that shows up. But if you are compassionate and if you're empathetic, then you can overcome a lot more than just fear. You know, fear is just one thing that you overcome with compassion and empathy. But there are so many other areas where compassion and empathy play a major role.
That's so beautiful, Sunil. And like what you said is, for me, you got to get in touch with your bigger calling in life. The context from which you're living in your life. Like you just shared, that your life is about empathy, and that is what gives you strength to go beyond your fear. And so, similarly, for me, it's about love. And so, when I'm scared, go back to the context of love. I remember in 2006, I used to work quite closely with a children's home in Ghaziabad, and when I discovered that so there were 84 girls there, and I discovered that the man, the Swami who was running the place, was sexually exploiting these girls. And remember, the 15 to 20 mentally retarded girls in there as well. And so I spoke to a lawyer, one of the well-known lawyers we had in Ghaziabad then, and he said, look, I mean, these guys are very well connected, and if you try and do anything, you will get attacked. But I'll stand with you. And it was scary. It was really scary for me because I'd never dealt with that kind of a situation before. But when I had that connection with these girls, and and I couldn't leave them in that cesspool. I couldn't leave them being sexually exploited. And so I got connected with love, which was the context that was running my life. So I think, to answer your question, Carla, it's about uh, getting in touch with whatever empowers you in life, whatever gives you being, whatever is your bigger calling. And then, even though the fear is there, but this empowering context then takes over, and then you just like Suril just shared, it didn't matter, because then empathy, that was something that took over his life. And yes, there was fear, but he could live with his fear. His fear never disappeared, but he wasn't focused on it. The fear didn't have a grip on Suril. What Suril was driven by was the empowering context he was living from. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Suril.
Yeah,
Thank you,
it's a beautiful analogy that Surreal talked about, and a very important one. I guess I have my mindful hat on right now where we're talking about growth of consciousness. But it's so important because people get scared and they don't do what they need to do. And we need to figure out, help people realize that you need to live your own truth and who you really are. And by living who you really are, then you can move forward in life. We have a
Yeah.
new person that I don't remember ever speaking to before. Saki, do you want to say hi? Saki, you are muted by your own desire, but we need you to speak. Say hi.
Hi, Saki. Can you please unmute yourself?
If he isn't, we'll just bring in someone who wants to talk.
Okay, we've got Neetu Rani. Hi, Neetu. Neetu, we can't hear you and your face is not illuminated. Is it possible for you to get to a place where your face is illuminated and we can see you?
Again,
She doesn't
another.
have a mic.
Okay, we lost. Hi, Devesh.
Hi, David. How are you doing?
Hey, hi, sir. Hi, everyone. Now we have Fazan.
Yeah, another good
And
person.
yes, and I enjoyed listening to you, Sureel, and Samir, you, and Carla as well. I think what you said that was quite smoothly. You mentioned about fear and the other thing. It's
I
quite
need
touching.
to say, John, if you're here to speak, not to mute yourself. So either you unmute yourself or you will be kicked from the studio so other people can.
Fezan Bhai, can you please unmute yourself? Fezan?
No one's going to hurt you.
I
You're
think
here.
Hi, yes. Hi, Fezan. How are you doing?
Hello, Faison. Can you hear us?
Unmuted myself.
We can't hear you,
Yep, I
Faison.
can hear you.
But you're very soft. We can barely hear what you're saying.
And I think he has his
Hello.
Facebook page open, which needs to be closed.
Yeah,
Faison,
Fezan Bhai, can you please close Facebook on your computer because there's an echo otherwise. If you close Facebook, then the echo will disappear. Have you done that?
Then
we
can you hear me?
cannot hear you. We can't talk to you.
I think it's gone mute.
Saki, if you want to be here, you need to unmute yourself. We can't have it. Saki, please unmute yourself. This,
Fezan Bhai, you'll have to close the Facebook because otherwise this echo will continue.
I'm going to remove him from the screen for now, but there's
Okay.
still an echo. Does the echo go away? No. Devish, do you have your Facebook page open?
No,
he does.
He doesn't use Facebook.
I have Facebook window from where I got the link for StreamYard.
Oh, please close.
No, please close that one.
You're the problem.
Okay, I'm really sorry. I did not realize. But now it's closed. But for the StreamYard link, I went to Facebook page.
That's
Now it
Yeah,
is.
okay. I also send it in that group, so it's always there.
Yeah.
But we're
Okay. So
still echoing.
the echo is gone, Devesh.
Thank you. Again, really sorry.
That's
I
okay.
hear something still.
Yeah. Neetu Rani is saying she doesn't have a microphone. And I think maybe we can bring her on back in.
She doesn't need a microphone.
No, she's saying she doesn't have a microphone.
She doesn't need one.
Okay.
And she's gone. She's not here anymore. But there
Oh,
is an echo, and I don't know why. I'm going to remove the two people in the waiting room because they're not turning on their mic anyway. Wait, I think I just fixed it. Is it gone? Anyway, let's keep the conversation going. And what we were talking about is more important than books anyway. There, it's gone. Okay. Samir, do you want to keep it going or should I?
yeah. So I just want to bring the conversation, this conversation that we're having about, about fear, and I want to bring it into the context of what we're discussing. And so for me, I mean, I related to the India-Pakistan, dynamic. I mean, there's quite a few things that I fear. I mean, one of the things is that uh, whenever we are in a group in which there are Indians and Pakistanis, uh, I try, conversations come up in a conversation which is not comfortable for people, both in India and Pakistan. Um, you know, I am scared of raising, any difficult questions. I sort of, I'm fearful that, there's some feedback somewhere. Uh, I'm fearful of, upsetting my Pakistani friends. If I actually ever criticize something related to Pakistan, I'm afraid that that they will get upset about it. And quite often, what that means is I am not unbiased. I am more often than not, I'm talking about things that are happening in India and not so much about things that are happening in Pakistan. Um, and it's very interesting. But at the same time, there are some groups where you get these Pakistanis who would some of them would be quite aggressive, and they would be commenting quite negatively about India, and that is something that it makes me angry. It makes me want to hit back, and there are times when I do, and then I always regret it. For me, like the intention of being in groups that have Indians and Pakistanis is to build bridges, and I end up getting provoked, and I end up causing damage. So it's something that I haven't still gotten a handle of till now.
So, what do you do and why does it make you angry? Because we're all different in some ways, and in other ways, the most essential part of our nature is the same. We all breathe in and out no matter what, and that sustains our lives. So, I'm curious, what is it? I mean, I have mine too. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I definitely am
Sure,
not perfect in this area.
sure.
But I'm wondering, what is it that scares you or makes you so angry?
I think somewhere. I avoid confrontation, and when I'm scared that this will degenerate into, uh, like a contest where people are being ugly with each other, when people are, you know, just fighting each other, and I'm scared that that's what will get triggered, and why I get angry is when when I think that people are, and either way, when people are blaming India, people are blaming Pakistan out of ignorance or unfairly, or when they are, when they're coming into a conversation with a, with some preconceived notions, or with an agenda of, not an agenda of peace, but an agenda of targeting a specific country, I somewhere, and I don't know what it is, but I get angry, and um, I just get angry when people come in like that, and it's probably even otherwise. I think it's not just India, Pakistan. Even otherwise, when I am interacting with people who I think are negative, or who are bullying others, I just get very uncomfortable. I just get very, emotionally upset about it.
So, how do you handle it when you're not emotional? Which keeps you from being emotionally upset.
Yeah, I think there is a, what I need to inquire into is, what is it that gets triggered? What does that trigger for me? There is obviously something somewhere, that I get triggered because it reminds me of something in my past, some conversation, past-based conversation that has me get triggered in such situations, and and I don't know what it is. And I probably have to discover what it is that I get provoked or I get triggered in these situations.
Do you have any idea?
Well, I mean, it's obviously got to do with, for all human beings, most of what we do, is related to our relationship with our parents, relationship with my father, relationship with my mother. So I think that's probably the source of it. Although I haven't really gone into the details, and I haven't really, clearly distinguished what it is that is driving me. But somewhere, but I'm so, because I know that I will have an emotional reaction, so I try and avoid that situation, and I'm scared that, that is something that would happen, that I will say something which is construed as being critical, or somebody else, will then go on and have this shouting match with me, and and I so just avoid having a shouting match. Hi, Abbas.
Yes, hi, hi everyone. Hi Carla. Hi Samir bhai. Hi Devesh bhai. Hi Suraj bhai. My connection is very slow today. I'm hearing your voice afterwards, yeah, and it's breaking a lot. But whatever I heard till now, it was beautiful, and yeah, uh, I should learn also from everyone here, because everybody have their own experiences, and it was wonderful what you shared, Samir bhai. Whatever I understood till now, it was wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you. So have you ever been in that situation, Cyril? Bhai? Have you been in a situation where, you're having a heated discussion, with people from Pakistan, and then, nationality. There's something people say that provokes you. You may not react to it.
I'm actually very hard to provoke, because I am. But when I get provoked, I get very provoked. And I've had uncomfortable debates and arguments and uh, difficult topics, I've discussed with a lot of my friends, Pakistanis, or even with sometimes with Americans and Israelis, and You know, I like, uh, but I don't get that emotional about it. You know, I I tend to keep out, like whenever I'm having a discussion, if I know it's going to get heated, I make a disclaimer upfront, like, after this discussion, we are still going to be friends, So you can go as far as you want, you can say whatever you want, but it's only up to the point of discussion, like uh, it's like you can criticize my nationality as much as you want, you can criticize my family as much as you want, but as long as it's contextual, as long as it's a part of the whole debate, because I enjoy heated debates, like I can one day I can be like hardcore pro Modi, next day I can be completely anti, third day I'll be, something else, because I know politics is there are no permanent friends and there are no permanent enemies. That's the thing. And so just like, so I look at myself as like, you know, we are we as a society have been, whatever you call it, you call it played by or governed by, manipulated, whatever words you want. I can't think of the words, but you know, I don't want to be a puppet anymore. So but when I want to be a puppet, I'll say, okay, here are my strings, just hold them, rather than uh, just blindly following everything, and in more recent times, I have completely, even though I shut myself off the news, I mean, it's become, for me, it's become so, like, I can read through the rhetoric, I can read through the, all of that. So even when I turn on the news, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what's happening. So I just turn it off. So, and when it comes to debates and arguments and all, like, I mean, I'm a lawyer, so I have to be open to all kinds of things that are thrown at me. I mean, especially sometimes when you're in the court, I don't do criminal law, but I've sat in for a couple of criminal hearings as a student, and the way things are thrown at each other, you at that time you are seeing these two lawyers like literally on the verge of throwing files at each other, but as soon as the case is over, they're like, hey, what's up, how are you, chai piyoge? And I mean, that's what I think uh, helps me, like, and yeah, I mean, when you're in, like, what happens, in my opinion, is that sometimes people say vile and really aggressive and hateful stuff, but people are, it's just their insecurity coming out, it's got nothing to do with you as a person. Some people have insecurities, and when you're insecure, you will be more uh, aggressive. Your speech will be more angry. Your speech will be more vicious. You'll say nasty things. But if you're comfortable with yourself, and if you have almost no insecurities of, I mean, everyone has some insecurity, like, but if you are like comfortable with yourself, if you enjoy your own company, and if you can sit and just talk to yourself and not get irritated with yourself, because it's a good exercise to practice also, try and talk to yourself to a point that you get irritated of your own self, then you will know what irritates you, because because if you know what irritates you, then you'll be like, okay, this irritates me. So you always have the option of just, shutting down. Your 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 brain has the capability. Like when someone is shouting at you, like just shouting, shouting, shouting. After a point, it has no effect. So you can shut yourself down. So you can use that same technique, you know. And yeah, I mean, you feel that, oh, why did this person have to behave this? But you can only control your own behavior. You can't control someone else's behavior,
Mm.
you know.
But what
It's
you said earlier. I mean, I get an emotional reaction whenever there's a mention of Mumbai 2008, for instance. Which you mentioned
yeah,
earlier. I still get goosebumps. I
yeah,
actually went to Mumbai last year and I visited. They've got one of these memorials, and I got
yeah.
goosebumps. And I'm sitting there and talking to myself. I'm like, gosh, I'm a peacenik. I'm one of those people who are, forever an activist, a peace activist.
Eh,
And yet, I get such an emotional reaction whenever I go
So the
back to that.
commandos were in my house when they were firing at the
Uh,
Trident Hotel. So we found
One of my
like
friends
lots
was
of,
leading the commandos, and I spoke to him after I came back, and
yeah,
he shared some of the things, and for a couple of days, I was still in that, and like you mentioned, I mean, I think what I'm trying to do, Carla, to come go back to answer your question is, I know that I am someone who can be a very forceful, uh, somebody who can argue very forcefully. If Cyril mentioned being a lawyer, I would have probably made a good lawyer in the sense that I was a champion when I was in school. I was a champion in debates. I won almost all the debates I participated in, and but then there are rules. There are rules in a debate, whereas on social media, for instance, there are no rules. People will keep hitting you below the belt
Right.
instead of discussing the subject at hand and presenting logic or presenting evidence. People would just go and hit you below the belt, and then, like you said, I have a choice of not reacting to it, or when somebody presses a button, not responding to it. But then I do, and I know I do. So, which is why when I'm in a conversation with Pakistani people, even though most of the time I'm quite well balanced, at the back of my mind, when things start getting heated up, I'm aware that I can react. I don't. It's very rare, uh, but sometimes I do. And when I do, and I also know that I can be very forceful, and I can literally rip people's conversations apart, their logic apart. But it's a bit scary to do that because that doesn't resolve the issue. It just it just creates a bigger bit, more aggression. So
But then, go
sorry,
on.
Kala, go ahead, please.
No, go on. I want you to finish your thought. I thought you were finished.
No, I was going to ask you, Kala. So what is your, I mean, do you get into these situations? How do you react?
I did it last week with Hobbes, and I'm not.
Right.
We know what I'm going to say about that. When I get in a situation like that, I have been recently really using something that I was taught by Sri Ravi Shankar, and also I've done a lot of research, is learning to smile and say, okay, that's that other person. It really has nothing to do with me. And for me to understand that or begin to understand that has been a major change for me. Um, we're all different. I mean, we're all alike in some ways, but our minds work in different ways. And I think we need to learn to accept that. Like, I may not agree with you on some things, Samir, and you'll be talking and talking. Let me give you a real life conversation. Like yesterday, I had to talk to someone about mindful and making clear some things. I felt like the person didn't hear me. And he started talking and he would say, but this is what we're going to do for you. And I would say, well, that's very nice. Let me think about it. And I'm not sure that's how how we want to proceed. But the person came back, but you need to do it this way. And well, that's true, but it's my show. I need to do it how I need to do it, not how you need to do it. Anyway, what I'm trying to say, in the past, I would have been not as nice. I would have said, you're totally off the wall. I am not going to do that. And let's just skip it. But I'm learning now to be more. I hope this person isn't watching. Um, but I am learning now to be more accepting of the differences of thought that people may have and accept that, okay, this person disagrees with me. That's fine. You go your route, I'll go my road. And when we meet, that'll be nice. But when we don't meet, it's nice, okay. It's nice also. So I guess it's more of an acceptance of people being different from each other. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, yeah.
Abbas, if you're not going to have your camera on, okay. And we are joined, we have Pakistan, India, and now Vietnam here. How cool. Miss Wong, you want to join the
Can you hear me?
conversation? Yes, we can.
Thanks, thanks for asking. My name is
You're
Phương. I'm from Vietnam.
Hi, welcome to our show again.
Should remove my uh, headphone. Is my problem. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. What would you like to say?
Yes, I'm very interested in this topic today. So that's why I decided to join. Vietnam also belong to and is a part of Southeast Asia. Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah. I mean, we also belong to ASEAN bloc, so we also have some achievement in economic development. Mhm.
So, do you have an enemy country, Hong?
Pardon?
Do you have an enemy country? Is there another
Uh,
country that
yeah,
Vietnamese people feel strongly about?
yeah.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Come on, stop playing with your headphones and just speak.
Yeah, I will remove my headphone.
Thank you.
Okay. So, is there a specific country, Hong, where you think they are the enemies of Vietnam?
Yeah, ASEAN country, ASEAN groups. I mean, we have 11 countries in that group, and Vietnam also is one of like very strong economy in that block. And we also open our hands and open our economies to collaborate with mm, all all of other countries from everywhere, from all over the world, and also India, Pakistan, and everywhere. Even the USA, they has become one of strategic partnership with my country, the biggest importer of my country, Vietnam.
Got it. So let me repeat my question. So I know there's a war between Vietnam and China, about 40 years ago. So are you still angry with the Chinese, or are you good friends with the Chinese now?
Oh, such an interesting question. Yeah, actually, in the past, we have more than 1,000 years. We were occupied by China. But now we still a good friends with each other. We have same long border and also very good business partnership. Yeah, because they are my neighbor, so that's why we are not able to deny the fact that. So yeah, still there's some problem between countries, but in terms of economies, we are good friends to do business.
Right. So you buried the hatchet with China, and so you've become good friends
Oh
now.
my God, I'm not able to hear you. I'm sorry for that.
No, it's
I'm
okay. I was
sorry.
just
I have
discussing.
problem with my voice here. I'm not able to hear you.
No, no,
I'm
I was just
sorry.
saying, like India and Pakistan have a history. Uh, oh, I think she's gone.
But say what you were saying for
No, I was saying, I think it's a great example where, remember traditionally Vietnam has been like China has been the big brother in that relationship, and in 1979 there was a real war, and by most accounts, Vietnam actually successfully, defended itself, and China, was defeated. But obviously, that bad blood is gone. So, it's beautiful what she just said, which is that, or whom you what you just said is that, since you're neighbors, you've just chosen to be good friends instead of continuing the 1,000 year, the all the memories of occupation by China for 1,000 years, and all the anger and the historical rivalry that the two countries have. You've moved on. You said, okay, fine. We're neighbors. What's the point of continuing to fight each other? So it's a great example of what you just shared.
You're right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for contributing to this conversation.
yeah, we're happy you did. You want to add something to us from the standpoint of a lawyer or a standpoint of a person, whatever you want to say?
you. So you heard have you heard about Indochina?
Yeah, we're still fighting the Chinese. I think a year ago we had a great relationship. I mean, 2 years ago we had a fantastic, in the India-China relationship, and then something has happened, and then we're back to fighting each other in the last 1 year.
But
Um,
actually,
just very quickly, if you come in with a name that is not a real name, like lottery winner, we need a real name. Okay, go on, Huang.
but
Yes,
actually, that's a specific name of some country. They call it Indochina.
yes, I know. Yes,
Between
it's,
between India and China, where some countries we have some countries, but some of them are called Indochina, not
yes.
called.
Hello.
Excuse me, we're not having someone with a mask on. Go on.
Yes, yes, I know. There's a few countries that were called. There's a whole area that was called Indochina. Uh, so yes, I know. So it's
Yeah,
interesting because historically, Vietnam has had great cultural ties both with India and with China, and so it's quite unique the entire region. And so it is fantastic that Vietnam has gone ahead and made peace with China and become very good friends and become collaborators. Whereas with India, obviously that hasn't happened. And I really wish that we did. I really wish that there was some way we can find to go beyond the mutual distrust that we have.
Yes, you're right. So we have to determine that the main vision and the main objective and main goal we want to build up. What is that? We try to avoid conflict and fighting each other because that's not good for both country and everyone. So that's why we have to set up good relationship with each other. Yeah, to bring the better future for everyone.
Got it. Great. Thank you so much. Oh. So we've got Mola Baksh. Hello, Mola Baksh. How are you?
Well, boss, you need to unmute yourself, please.
Assalamualaikum, sir. I'm fine. How about you?
Yeah, very good. Where are you from? Which city do you live in?
Can you hear me, sir?
Do you have your
Yes,
face?
sir. I'm from Hyderabad, sir, Pakistan.
Mola Baksh, can you please close your Facebook? I
Can
think
you
your
hear me?
face is open on your phone.
Let us know when you close your Facebook, please.
Okay, Abbas bhai, so what is your, what do you want to
Can you
say
hear
about
me
what?
now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you so much. So we'll just come back to you, Mola Baksh. So please stay unmuted. I just
Assalamualaikum.
want to bring Carla in. Yes, Abbas.
Yes, Samir bhai, I couldn't hear you earlier because of Mr. Maula Baksh's sound was there. So can you repeat your question, please?
Yes. You just spoke about Vietnam and China, and
Yeah.
the fact that there was a war in 1979 that Vietnam won, and yet the two countries have moved beyond the problems they have, all the historical anger and everything else, and India and Pakistan can learn something out of it.
Yes, very true. We can learn from the example that you just gave, and we must learn from it. It's high time now, and if we want to get successful, we have to unite. Otherwise, there is no future for us. Uh, I don't mind if you correct me. At least for Pakistan, there is no future if other countries do not unite, because the space we occupy is not very big as compared to India, and the population of Pakistan is very, very, very less. Like, it's uh, very less as compared to India. So the thing is, business wise also we need to get successful. I mean Pakistan. So we have to unite with Asia, especially first, then with Western countries as well. We must unite, and I just want to appreciate by my heart that it's not easy to collaborate and merge people from all over the world, which Carla is doing. And really feel embarrassed that what I did last week with
It's
her.
okay. We can move on from that.
So
It's
I apologize.
over. It's
It's okay,
Okay.
Abbas.
forgotten.
We can move
Don't
on from there.
think about it now.
All
I
right.
got it.
Yeah.
I have about 5 minutes left, and I want to bring up, Devesh and Cyril Bhai. And what else do you think we can do?
What else do you think we can do?
Wait a moment. I need to.
Mala Baksh, your
Wait
Facebook is
a moment.
on. Can you please
I
show this?
go on. You can talk now. I
Yes,
forgot.
thank you. So I just wanted to bring in Devesh, maybe, and then Cyril Bhai. So Devesh, what do you think? What can individuals like you and me do about the mutual relationship, India and Pakistan?
Well, I think, Samir, first of all, people have to be consistent. They have to come every Friday, from in the scheduled time. I think once that consistency comes up, only then people can come up thoughts, and we can think of how to take
How
those
can we
thoughts
cause
further
that?
into the action.
How can we cause
So I
that?
think I think first, maybe a day before. I mean, we have a WhatsApp group. A day before there can be a proper attendance. People can confirm whether they're joining or not, and accordingly it can be decided. Yes, I mean I have seen like Suril, Abbas, and of course Carla and you are the permanent guests. But Rehan should also be consistent because he's also part of
Whoa,
this
whoa,
show.
whoa, whoa.
So I
Rayhan
think
had an emergency he had to take care of. Please,
okay, I understand.
he
But
is here
Okay,
when he can be here.
sure. So can I just make a request, Devesh?
yeah,
Can I please make a request that every Thursday morning, can you please just post that message asking people to mark attendance?
so I mean I share ideas. I'm not good in execution. Maybe
So can I
anytime you
please,
need idea, come to me.
can I
Devon,
please ask you to take that on?
You know.
you know, I need
I
to
can do
say
it.
something about that. I think that's an important point you brought up. And it's up to us to take on that responsibility. And if people are coming and saying, I'm going to do this or this is a great idea, that's great. But make your words count by doing. And that goes for everyone, not just you, Devas, but everyone who I'm not putting you down. It's just something we all need to learn to do.
Sure.
So will you consider my request, Devesh bhai?
Do I have a choice? Yep. So okay,
No.
let me initiate.
No.
And I think we should also
It's a
decide
request.
on which topic we are going to speak, and
I got it. I
there
got
should
it.
be some kind of format for this show.
Sure.
I
And I'm
think free flow is not working. We come, we have a different conversation, and then we leave at 11.
so
So I think
that's
there
why
has
I'm requesting you, Devesh. And of course you can say no. Of course you can turn down my request.
no
But
no. It's not a
so I'm
difficult thing.
making
I
a
can do
request.
that.
Could you please just create a like a message so that people can mark their attendance and maybe
Sure,
even
I'll do
ask
that.
you what they want to discuss on Friday. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Thank you for accepting my request.
Very
welcome.
well done, Sir Samir.
Thank you. Okay, we got 3 minutes left. So Sunil bhai, any more ideas?
I I think we need to somehow need to create some. I don't know exactly what, but we need to kind of start curating a bunch of people, identifying a few people from both sides who we can invite to the show and who would be willing to come to the show. Because I tried inviting my friend, but he just became a news anchor on the most controversial Indian channel. So he said he can't come on the show. So and he said that if it was, if it was not being broadcasted on Facebook, he would have definitely come
Got
because it's
that.
on Facebook. So, but we can make a wish list of the people we would like to see on the show.
Sure.
And once we have a wish list, we can identify who we can connect to and bring on the show. I mean, right now,
So why don't we use WhatsApp, Sunil bhai? Let's do this. You know, let's create a
yeah,
chain of all the people that like Devesh said. What we do is in WhatsApp, we can keep adding to the list of people that we're going to invite. People may not turn up, but at least the very least we can do is invite them. So if you
yeah,
invite four people, one of them will turn up. So I think that's a good idea.
yeah. No,
We have another list.
I was thinking that, like identifying certain kind of popular celebrity like people, whoever we can, let's just make a wish list, who we would like to see,
Yeah.
who, and yeah,
We say
Got it.
this every week, and it never happens. I'm
no,
just
so we'll make the wish list. You make a
But
wish
you
list.
say that every week. Where is that wish list? You said it last week. Not
No,
necessarily you, but and the week before. I want to see that wish list.
okay.
Got it, Carla. So that's
Like
what
the
we'll do.
thought, but it doesn't get done.
I got that, Carla. So what we'll do is we've got this new structure. And so we'll have two structures. One, the wish list of guests we'll invite, and the other one is our attendance. So what we will do is, I mean, I'll create a wish list tonight. I'll post a
Yeah.
wish list, and it's a list that will keep going for the next 1 week. And then Devesh will create an attendance list on Thursday morning. Make sense?
I agree. As long as someone reaches out and actually reaches to get these people.
Got it.
I mean, we keep on saying this every week. I don't live in India or Pakistan. That's the responsibility of you guys. And it's great that we're talking about it, but I don't see it executed. I see a lot of talk, but not execution. That's my,
Got it, Carla. Got it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I'd love to see it happen.
Sure. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've come to the end of time.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we're going to wave goodbye and we'll be back next week, hopefully
Bye
with
bye.
wish list people.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.